Hello, Guardians. Welcome back to Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast. I am one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, is the flawless, the mayor of the Deepstone Crypt, the vault dwelling, Josh Finney. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Corey.
I was trying not to tip off that we were probably going to talk a lot about Halo at the top of the show. I'm not going to lie to you.
Man, we got so much to talk about this week because it wasn't just not only did Halo come out, we have the best birthday party this side of the galaxy going on right now in Destiny.
Yeah, dude.
We have no TWAB this week. There is a TWAB. We're not covering anything in it. There's nothing new that you need to know.
There's nothing new in the TWAB.
Oh,
I didn't even look at it.
No, nothing new in the TWAB. Basically saying go play the anniversary event. Here's some artwork and movie of the week for you. And with the news that, like we all suspected, The Dawning will be out next week.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
If you guys randomly hear me stop talking at any point, because I usually run my mouth a lot on this show, it's because I have the Game Awards up on another screen. And
yeah, we're watching the Game Awards on another screen.
Well, we're doing double duty. The original purpose was the Destiny trailer hadn't aired yet when Corey and I jumped into a call. It aired just before we went live to record this, so I guess let's jump in there. Let's punt the Halo towards the end.
Okay,
let's punt Halo towards the end.
All right. So the
trailer, this is a Destiny pod.
Yeah, the trailer for the Witch Queen was definitely gave me some more Taken King vibes than even the early ones, right? Where like you're literally boarding Savathun's ship. It looks like. And then there's like some live action stuff going on in there. That was cool. There's
some live action stuff going on. I'm trying to figure out where I know the actress from. She looks I don't know if it is her, but she looks very similar to Kobe Smulders
it's
from
not.
the MCU and How I Met Your Mother. It's not. It's Dollar General Kobe Smulders. Okay, and I mean that in the nicest way possible to whoever it is. But Jeff Keighley, after they showed the trailer, confirmed, "Hey, this is." All the footage you just saw is from solely the first mission. So we will have the Glaive in the first mission. We will fight our first Hive Guardian in the mission. And it is a knight. At least the one that they fought is a knight with 2 Sentinel shields.
Yeah, great. I can't get 2 Sentinel shields, but you know.
No. 2. Hey, we got a balance for PvP, okay? This will all make us better Crucible players in the end, Corey. But he double Hive shields going on, slinging them around. Had what looked like a trace rifle built into his arm. There's not really a whole lot of like new stuff. Like the information that we got basically is, oh yeah, we boarded Savathun's ship, and Ikora is clearly talking to this Guardian, who came back and is just like scarred, like emotionally, mentally, etc. And goes, so what happened? Why did you keep pressing forward? And they pressed forward into a Hive portal, which I assume takes us into Savathun's throne world. But overall, I mean, it's a pretty short trailer. Nothing like game-changingly new. Like even Bungie wasn't really hyping it up a whole lot today. They're like, yeah, hey, there's a little bit of new stuff in there. And yeah, it's kind of just a sneak peek of the first mission. But like, if you watch the reveal event, you probably know what's going to be shown. It was cool, Hive Guardian action, and like how, and part of this is dramatized, obviously. Like they kind of ignored killing the ghost. And that comes back to bite you. Like you better kill those Hive ghosts as quickly as you can. Do the little crush finishing move on them. But other than that, I mean, not really a whole lot here. Just, I think play a lot of it close to the chest. I think they've really learned over this past year. Hey, if we play things close to the vest, our players are going to be surprised. We're going to get to surprise them. Just a lot of really good stuff going on. If you were already sold, cool. If not, I don't know how many more people it'll bring in, but whatever. I'm just excited for weapon crafting. There was no weapon crafting shown, so I continue to be upset.
Yeah. No weapon crafting shown. It's okay, though.
No weapon crafting, chat. No weapon crafting.
Sorry.
But Corey, any final thoughts on this trailer before we
No.
move into the meat of the show?
No, I just look, I just want to, I'm excited for the Witch Queen, but I'm even more excited for this 30th anniversary event at this moment. At this moment.
The 30th anniversary is something that's tangible and on our hands right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I really like that. I like what's going on. This anniversary, man, I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't this, and I mean that in the best way possible. It is the weirdest and funniest thing that they've ever done. Like when you load in immediately, like I thought my game was bugged. I was in with our friend Nerd Generalist. Me and him were in chat together. I managed to load in before him, and Joe joined us shortly after, and I was like, I think my game's bugged because Zur is talking, but my screen is black, and then all of a sudden I'm loaded into an activity.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Zur is basically hosting a game show is just, some of this dialogue is incredible. Give whoever wrote the dialogue Dares of Eternity, give them all the raises, and then let them write Drifter and Ghost forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the kind of humor we need in this game to break up like the tension and the seriousness of the Savathûn arc.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just go up there and you're playing fucking Wheel of Fortune at the beginning to decide who you're gonna fight. Like that affects like the combat cycle, the bosses, everything else. Like you go through a couple rounds of this. Like when you get to the obstacle course, the horse describes this as utterly bonkers. Had me rolling.
Yeah.
Like the picking, you know, like you have to pick really quickly, like which door you're supposed to go down, and if you do, you get this like psychedelic aura, similar to how the old Nightfall auras used to be in D1.
Yeah.
You get that, but it's like tie-dye now. And you go, and your boss is somebody from Destiny 1. So if you get Cabal, you fight Volus Torak, Rockets McDickface, as we lovingly used to call him. Crota, who spawns copies of himself because he's a little crybaby bitch. And Zydron the Gate Lord, who apparently we haven't whooped his ass enough in the past that he decided to come back for more. I really hope, because those are the only three options I've gotten. I've done about a dozen runs of this. Oh, pardon me, my throat is really scratchy today. I'm hoping that when the Fallen come up eventually in the rotation, I hope they're
in the rotation.
Three bosses.
The Fallen are in the rotation.
The boss rotation? The boss rotation.
Oh, I don't know about the boss rotation.
The boss rotation at the end, the only ones I've gotten are Hive, Cabal, and Vex. Those are the only three symbols that have ever popped up for me back there, where it's the three plates you got to stand on.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones I've ever gotten. I know they're in the regular rotation. I don't know that we'll get Fallen or Taken. Maybe it's just those three bosses, and that's fine. If it's the Fallen, I petition for it to be Taniks. I want it to be D1 Taniks. Give him legs again.
God.
I'm not gonna lie. It's hilarious. There's actual mechanics. This event has made me convinced we can never ever do matchmaking for dungeons or for raids ever, because people can't do the simplest things that require teamwork. Pass. Absolutely pass. It's a great event though. I mean, like at the end, and he's even taking you out of it like he's a game show host, you know. Thanks for competing on tonight's Dares of Eternity. Remember to spay and neuter your ghosts. The time he said that, I mean, it's at the end of my first run. I'm laughing so hard at this point. Like, Nerd was a few minutes behind me loading in. He's like, "What the fuck is happening over there?" I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is great, man. This is fantastic. I love everything that's happening right now in my life." So the event, it's simple, it's fun, it's gonna be around for a whole year.
Right.
Like Eternity is an actual destination. It'll be around for a whole year. So like, okay, if you don't get to it, and you don't care about the seal, yes, it is. There is content that you can unlock. Like you have a whole year to earn like some of the titles and things like that associated with it, and you have to do stuff in Dares of Eternity for that seal. So, as far as I'm aware, it looks like this is going to be up at minimum through September or October of next year. I would still advise don't wait, because once Witch Queen hits, especially if the seasons keep hitting like they have, you're really not going to have a whole lot of time to go back without feeling pressured. It's I think it's good. I really enjoy the simplicity of it, but also like it just feels engaging and rewarding. Like everybody's working together towards a cumulative score. You're trying to get bounties done. You can go in there and play around with all the new weapons. You can get drops to the new weapons. Strange coins are backable. It's great. It's great. It's great. It's great.
Cool. Yeah, I really like the event. I didn't get to play much because Tuesday was our holiday party for work, and I didn't get home till late, so I played a couple rounds of the event. And I mean, do you want to just jump into the weapons now? I guess. Like,
yeah, let's move to Zer's treasure room.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole treasure room concept is actually fascinating.
Yeah.
So when you load in, if you bought the anniversary pack after you do your first one, you're going to automatically be teleported to Zer's treasure room. You go in there, and he's going to give you all these packages, which is you get all 3 sets of the streetwear ornaments for all 3 characters, regardless if you have characters created or not. You get them. They're in your inventory forever once you open packages. Cool. You get some treasure keys. You get some strange coins. And then you get a random weapon. And they encourage you to use your treasure keys on the chest right next to Zer, because that will always give you an anniversary weapon. None of this, we're going to give you a legendary weapon, like an Enigma's Draw bullshit, like you can get out of the end Dare of Eternity. I opened mine up, and apparently I got the God Roll battle rifle right off the bat. So really, really excited about that. We have we have three legendary Halo weapons. 3 or 4. 4. Sorry. Forgot there's 2 swords. You get the battle rifle.
2 swords.
There are 2 swords. You get the pulse rifle. Well, you get our first legendary trace rifle. It's the focus rifle from Halo Reach. You get half of the energy sword, and they're both long swords that cut like a small frame sword. Kind of they cut upwards like quick fanged.
Yeah.
You get one that's clearly one half that's blue. The other one is purple, and the purple one is literally called the other half. And they both can roll with a special perk that lets you, as soon as you swap to that weapon, you can lunge immediately if you swing right away.
Yeah, it's called Eager Edge. Gain increased sword lunge distance immediately after switching. Yeah, I got that one. I got that in Tireless
It's very
Blade.
cool. I have that on my on the blue sword. I just blanked on the name of it. Half Truths. I have it on Half Truths. But that's really cool that there's 2 different kinds of swords. I've seen a lot of people go, "Oh my god, I hope that with weapon crafting we can like fuse these together." I think that would be cool, but I don't think they're going to let you do it. If you couldn't do it in the anniversary, they're not going to let you do it. And then we have a grenade launcher from Pathways into Darkness. There's a real deep cut for you from Bungie from like the early to mid 90s. And the Wastelander M5, which is from Marathon.
Yeah.
I find it really funny that there's nothing from Oni in the weapons, in the cosmetics, nothing.
Well,
I think maybe that's because Rockstar published it.
Yeah, that's what I was going. I was like, maybe Rockstar technically owns the IP, and they just weren't going to play ball.
It's very clear that Microsoft is really generous about this. But you can get those weapons from Zer, and they can also drop in dares, because I've gotten like 6 battle rifles so far. I have yet to glimpse the shotgun or the trace rifle, or excuse me, the grenade launcher or the trace rifle. But rest assured, I have gotten a million rolls of everything else.
Yeah, I've got. So speaking of rolls,
Hit me with some rolls.
Is Perpetual Motion like one of the best perks ever?
I think so, and it's a brand new perk on top of that.
Yeah. So I got
it rolls on almost every one of these weapons.
yeah, I got on the battle rifle.
Mm-hmm.
I got perpetual motion and blunt execution rounds.
Blunt execution and perpetual motion, I believe, is one of the god rolls for this gun.
So
that is what I have personally. I believe I have those with ricochet rounds.
yeah, I also have ricochet rounds.
I wanna make sure I'm getting. Corey, do you want to read off what perpetual motion does really fast for me?
Yes, perpetual motion. This weapon gains bonus stability, handling, and reload speed while the wielder is in motion.
Very nice, very nice.
I wanna say one thing. I am shocked that this does not have hip fire grip on it.
So that's what A1 Johnny and I were talking about. That we're like, of all the guns to give hip fire grip to, of all the pulse rifles, it should have been this one.
Yeah.
I'm very shocked it doesn't either. Blunt execution rounds is actually exclusive to this gun. We found out.
What is
damaging blunt execution rounds is exclusive to the battle rifle, the BXR 55. BXR, by the way, that's a deep cut back to the original battle rifle as well. Shoot, melee, reload. It's great. So blunt execution rounds kind of plays into that. Damaging nearby combatants with melee abilities dramatically increases handling and damage. Expires after a short duration or the next shot. This is going to be really good on Titans, I feel, who are like built around melees, or even throwing knives. Like, I feel like this can be a really, really, really good gun. I look forward to using this in PvP personally.
Yeah.
Because this combatant's not enemies. So I look really forward to using this one. I like it a lot. And I also got perpetual motion on mine as well. Straight off the bat, one of the absolute best perks that you can get, I think, is perpetual motion. It's one of the new anniversary perks, and we do now know that this is exclusive to this gun. Each weapon seems to have a special perk, or at least this and have special perks. The trace rifle. They've said this is kind of just an experiment to see how legendary trace rifles might work in the future. It's pretty clear they've had a hard time figuring out how to do those, so where it's like, oh, they're not just generic, and how can we make these truly unique as legendary weapons? Because if we give them all the same perk pool, like, what's the point? But this one, I've seen a lot of people use subsistence with it. I've seen a lot of people use, what do you call it? Subsistence and harmony with it. There is a new perk, the tricorn. I don't know right off the bat what it does. I personally have not had a gun with it yet. And dim is causing my computer to slow to a crawl, so I'm going to go ahead and exit out of dim. I don't know why dim always does. I think it's because I've got dim, Skype, and Twitch all running at the same time. I've had to sit through this hellish Clifford the Dog commercial while Twitch reloads for quite a hot minute. And I think I actually just missed the Halo trailer. That's really funny. Man, this is it's great. You go into the treasure hoard and you're looking around. There's 3 statues. There's one for each class, and when you go up to it, you're told what rank you need to be with Xur. And it's all ranks, like upgrading at a vendor, right? Like 4, 6, 7, etc. And you take however many treasure keys it says once you're at that level or above, and you can unlock the chest. The armor chests, and this is the biggest thing to point out, once you've looted a golden chest on the ground, it's done. It's done, it's gone, outside of the weapon mod one, because that will just keep giving you the Grunt Birthday Party skull effect that you can put on any legendary weapon. Feel like not ever doing optimal DPS or just running around Trostland shooting grunts. That's great. Or grunts. Dregs.
It's all the same.
That's the play. They're basically the same. That's where you're going to want to do it at.
Let's face it. Dregs are basically grunts that lost weight. Okay?
They're nimble grunts, I would say.
By the way, side tangent. Did you see the finisher, the confetti finisher that you can buy?
No, I did not.
Yeah, there's a finisher, and like hold on. I gotta go run over here and get it correctly. But like after the finish, like you finish them, and the head explodes into confetti.
Yeah. I did see that. I did see the Spanker. I haven't bought it yet. It's fun. Maybe the only thing I end up actually buying because all the Halo cosmetics are in Xur's treasure hoard. We've determined by looking through collections. The Sparrow. So there's 3 other chests in there. There's a Sparrow, a ship, and a Ghost, and that's what we talked about last time. The Sparrow that is in there is the Ghost from Halo.
Is it?
But as a Sparrow, like it's not the shape of the Ghost. It's like pretty clearly a long Sparrow with the Ghost chopped off.
Wait, the
like
Ghost
the wings are not there, which is really funny.
The Ghost, the
yeah,
the
Ghost
vehicle.
from Halo.
I'm like,
Yes.
there's a Ghost in Halo. Like, I thought like maybe it was like the ODST poster Easter egg, and I just totally missed that there was like a Ghost in Halo somewhere. That's on me. I'm sorry. Wow. Feel like an idiot. It's fine.
No. And then there is a Ghost shell that is. It looks kind of like the classic Destiny shell with a around it, with a Halo ring around it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I really like. And the armor that you get out of these chests is the Marathon armor set, by the way. And you get them as ornaments. They're armor drops. They're just straight up universal ornaments.
Yeah. So, okay. So
all that, I thought... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to talk about these finishers. So there's a bunch, actually. There's
hit me.
The birthday blade is the energy sword, thrust. Then there's, I'm guessing, it's called 4 barrels. I'm guessing it's from Marathon. It's the double wielding the 2 shotguns. And then Josh, the sidearm smackdown is the Halo 1.
I'm getting the sidearm one. I'm absolutely getting the sidearm.
Yeah. I'm like all about that finisher. I can't find the confetti one. There was one. I can't find it. Maybe I made it up. I don't think I made it up. Maybe I did. Maybe I just wanted it.
It's so you can get the confetti from applying a weapon mod. I know that.
Oh, maybe that was it then.
Yeah, they give you 10 of them right off the bat, and then you can get more from opening the chest next to the horse that they've literally called Star Horse.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really liked that. That was I'm actually gonna buy like almost nothing from the store. There's a couple of cool ornaments I think for the guns. There's particularly a really cool Witherhorde one that I like, and of course the Spinker Gallarhorn ornament.
Yeah.
But almost anything I would have wanted is being given to me as part of this event. Like there are triumphs you can complete for the seal, and the seal. So this is one of the biggest for me. It's a real callback for achievement hunters. If you get the 30th anniversary seal and you complete it, you will get the title Vidmaster.
Mm-hmm.
And that is just like one of the great callbacks to the end of the Bungie era of Halo.
Mm-hmm.
With the Vidmaster achievements that were worth like 0 points.
They were 0 points, but if you watch like the Halo 3, the Vidocs or whatever, that's how you got them. Or because there were 4 attached to Halo 3 and then 3 attached to ODST, right? That's how it went.
I have there's a couple in ODST. There's a couple in Halo 3. One of the ones in Halo 3, I believe, was doing the 4-player legendary co-op run on Brute Chambers of the final level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that was for like 20 gamer score or something, or 0. I don't remember which one. The one in ODST that I remember is where everybody was having to protect. There was somebody you had to protect, and I don't remember who it was.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, it was an experience. We'll put it that way. You had to protect the engineer on the final level, and you had to do all these ridiculous things. I don't remember what it is. It was like get a mongoose to the end, something, or something so stupid that you couldn't conceive why you had to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And it took like a whole night of us trying to get it done. I remember that vividly in my senior year of high school. I love that this name is Vidmaster. So I think it would have been Forerunner had they not done that last season for Season of Arrivals.
Mm-hmm.
If they hadn't done it last year, I'm almost convinced Forerunner would have been it. Just some great callbacks to Bungie's past. hidden in all of this, including in the exotic you can get. This is the exotic everybody can earn, to my knowledge, and that's the Halo 1 pistol.
It's literally the first. It's like the first quest, and it's like it's relatively easy to get.
It's a easy quest to get, and it's awesome. I really, really dig it. It is a very powerful arm. Naturally, it is a 3-shot. It's not 3-shot burst. Oh, God, getting that in a battle rifle mixed up. It's 3 shots to kill if you land headshots in the Crucible. 2 to break the shield, 1 to actually drop the person. You start with 8 bullets if you take it into Crucible, so beware. It's really good, though. I like it. They updated it just enough, and the little quest you go on is really rewarding. You eventually find Master Chief's cryopod in Eternity. And when you open it up, we're going to read the lore card from it later, but it got me really emotional reading it. Like, man, I'm reading this, and I finished the pistol the night before Halo Infinite came out, obviously. Like, man, I'm going to be playing Halo in less than 12 hours. This is a special moment. This is really cool. I love how it handles, how it feels. Can't wait to get the masterwork for it. I'm doing the masterwork for Galley tomorrow. But also, when you're wandering around Eternity, so you can go in there from the back of Zer's treasure room. When you're wandering around, there are 7 skulls hidden around. And if you go all the way to the back of the arena and you look at how all the formations are and the things are in the ground, like there's some random pillars in the ground. You're like, why the fuck are those there? On the sides, it actually makes the 7th column symbol.
Yeah, it's really cool. I saw that. I did see that. That's really cool. I didn't know there were skulls in there,
like, though. There are skulls. There are random skulls. They don't do anything, but when you pick them up, and once you pick them up, they're instanced. So if somebody else in your instance has already gotten them, you can't get them. But me, Nerd, and Joe found all 7 of them. And they each, like, have a flavor text that pops up when you pick it up. Like, an ancient battle between 2 gods. Things along those lines. And next week I'm going to try and get the flavor of what all the skulls so that we can read them out. I was just too excited picking them up and running to go get my pistol to really pay attention to what was happening. But those are neat little callbacks, I think. Anything else about Zer, about the loot that we can get, about any of that?
No, I mean, I just think it's a really fun event. I'm doing the dungeon tomorrow. I've actually started recording everything I've been playing, including Destiny stuff, so we can get some sort of different types of content on YouTube, or just kind of, I don't know what I want to do with it. I just want to have it in case we want to use it for something. So I'm doing the full dungeon tomorrow with our buddy Mitch and Joe Aces, who writes into the show. We're gonna play with him. So
very cool, very cool.
Yeah.
I cleared. No surprise, a day 1 the dungeon.
No, that's so unlike you, Josh.
It's so unlike me. I mean, there's not a whole lot to spoil, really. I think that this is probably Bungie's best designed dungeon. They've continued to top themselves with the dungeon designs, I think. Like, I really love Shattered Throne's layout. There wasn't anything like super unique you had to do, like, run to this next symbol, like in that first room and stuff, and then it was a whole bunch of jumping puzzles and the thrall way and things like that. Some dunking. Nothing like really hardcore. Good for a first dungeon. Pit of Heresy, kind of the same, like, match the symbols, you plebeian. And learn how the swords work. Like, the sword was the mechanic there. Prophecy was a little bit different. You had to do the dunking of the orbs. You had to, get everything to kind of merge together and whatnot. And that was really cool. I like that. I like that you had to pick, light and dark runners. It was randomized every time. This time is definitely a little bit different. And it plays into the whole "this is the loot cave" joke of it right from the beginning. And it's so on the nose. The audio messages you find throughout it of the Explorer are just, they're great. They tell a really wonderful story. I need to find all of them still. There were things I was not expecting in this dungeon. The amount of times we busted out laughing because somebody died was actually really great, and that plays into the design of it all. if you remember Scourge of the Past, all I'll say is be ready to pedal to the metal.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. That's my favorite. Is there a firewall that chases you?
No.
Aww.
It's the demon child between that race and Dismantle Mines. It took us probably about a dozen tries to get it down, to like finally figure out what we were doing. That was really cool. I love the puzzle that happens between. So you have that, and then you go straight into the biggest puzzle of the whole thing, and then you're in the boss room. Like, it's actually really not that bad. You spend so much of your time getting to the first boss encounter, and then from that, it's like, boom, there's that. There's the sparrows. There's the big puzzle, and then there's the boss. It really doesn't take that long. Most of it is just figuring out the initial pathways through to that first boss encounter. Of course, the Thorn armor drops from here, as do D1 weapons, AS Luna, 1,000-Yard Stare, and Matador 64, as well as the sword from Myth. Mm-hmm. That also drops. Very cool. Very, very cool that happens. I did not get a single weapon on my run through. I did get 4 of the 5 armor pieces, though.
Oh, cool. Now,
and something I like is that there are hidden chests throughout there are at least 2 hidden chests that we've been able to confirm that are in the dungeon that will act like raid chests. They won't give you powerful loot, but they will give you, similar to Prophecy, they will give you loot that is already in your loot pool, which is going to be great for farming the weapons or armor rolls, whatever you want to do.
Right, because you said that they were allowing you to, they're patching it next week to where you can farm the dungeon. Did you tell me that?
Yes. Yes. It was something that was supposed to be there right at launch, and it was definitely not ready to go. So I like that's going to be there. It's the first farmable dungeon as many times as you want. I plan on farming this ad nauseum the week before Christmas, and then just like kind of being done with it outside of helping people get Gallarhorn and get the catalyst. Mm-hmm. There are some jokes in the boss room that are really on the nose that I don't want to spoil, but it's very like, the music feels very Pirates of the Caribbean-esque.
Ooh.
Is what we were all saying. We were just like sitting there like being really annoying, like screaming the music at each other, basically.
That sounds awesome.
It was really fun. Like, it's not a particularly difficult encounter. But I would say like you need your most powerful heavy. And so for literally everybody, it's sleeper stim, unless you already have Gallarhorn. Like, it's going to be one of those 2.
Yeah.
That you want to take in. Get your catalyst done if you haven't yet. Dares of Eternity is a great place to get your catalyst done at.
Yeah.
For sleeper.
Yeah.
I will be taking mine in a lot over the next couple of weeks. Doing that. The overall dungeon, though, just great design. It's the most fun I think I've had with a dungeon. Not like, oh, it was really funny, but it was genuinely fun figuring the puzzles out. Like, we were actually stumped on one or two for a hot minute, especially in the big puzzle room towards the end. We were like, what are you supposed to do? And then we finally figured it out, and it's like, okay, that's pretty ingenious. It was fun to use shock or scorch cannons again that were not in player mode. So just like overall, great dungeon, great encounter, and I love that you get Gallarhorn from it. I hate that you get it from Shah Han, but you get the Gallarhorn. You have to complete the dungeon. That's the first step of the Gallarhorn quest, and then after that, it's cake. That's the hardest part of that quest. They clearly wanted everybody to have this and the Forerunner sidearm.
Yeah.
But kind of going back to like Xur thing. So Xur has a bunch of things you can earn from him. There's several emotes you can earn from him. There's like a dandelion. There's like blowing on a dandelion, I think, is one of them. There's a 3-player emote, and it's sitting on a couch playing games. Like, you're holding game controllers and playing, and like throwing your controller or jumping up and celebrating if you win. Things like that. It's a really cool emote. That is for finishing Dares of Eternity on Legend with only 2 to 4 people in the fire team. Which will definitely be a challenge, but I look forward to meeting that one. I don't remember what the third one is. Oh, it's the armor lock pose from Halo Reach.
Oh, really?
You activate that, yeah, when you slam into the ground, there's this big overshield that pops up around your character, and you just hold that pose.
Oh,
It's
that's
the
cool.
anniversary pose, is what they call it.
That's cool. That's really cool. That's
I
really
I
cool.
liked it. I liked it a lot. So that's an awesome one. And then you can earn a special Gallarhorn ornament from Xur as well, and that's for finding all the audio messages hidden throughout the dungeon.
Huh.
I think we found half just by like not really looking that hard on our first run through. So we'll probably finish those up next week to get that ornament. Um, and of course, the Gallerwing Sparrow is back and is earnable from the final uh, chest in the dungeon. I suspect you might get it when you get the Catalyst, but I haven't been able to confirm that yet or not. I haven't really looked into the Catalyst. I kind of played Destiny on that Tuesday, and I'm playing Halo since. A lot of fun though. I really like the dungeon. I like the anniversary event. But Corey, before we go into lore, because we're gonna do lore corner and then we're gonna talk Halo.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
One thing I've seen debated online, not nearly as much as I was expecting, but it's definitely been debated. How do we feel about this $25 price point now that this is out in the open? How do we feel about that? And ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, what you get for that $25, you get you get access to the dungeon. You get the Gallarhorn quest. You can earn the Thorn armor. You can earn the 4 dungeon weapons. You get the Ghost, the Sparrow, and the ship that are exclusive to Xur's treasure room. You can earn the Marathon armor. You get the streetwear sets. And you get 700 Bright Dust every week just for logging in Eververse. I forgot to mention that earlier. We're talking about Eververse. There is a section in the bottom right-hand corner where they do the daily offer. Every week at reset, that's going to say 700 claim your free Bright Dust. 700 Bright Dust every week from now until the Witch Queen comes out. That is 7,700 Bright Dust if you collect every single week.
Mm-hmm.
That is what you are getting for $25. Keep in mind there's several. There's like 4 earnable emotes. There's the earnable ornament Gallarhorn, and you also the universal helmet ornament, which we're going to get to at the very end of all this because that's a fun nod back to Bungie. For $25, is that a good deal or not?
I mean, I think it is. This is more content than you usually get in like a seasonal event, and that's like, I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool, especially with like a dungeon is cool and the event isn't annoying. Like I kind of want to go do the event again, right? I mean, sometimes seasonal events
I'll be
are
farming the event for those rolls and for those strange coins to buy more keys and to earn more keys so I can get more rolls on the weapons, things like that.
Yeah. I don't think $25 is a lot, to be honest. Like, I know a lot of people were like, I mean, first of all, I bought the $100 bundle for the Witch Queen, so I think my price tag ended up being like $20, right? So
yeah, about the same here.
Yeah, so
that's what I got.
I think it's fine. It's an anniversary event. If you don't want to play it, you don't have to, right? I mean, I don't know. I think it's fine. I think the $25 is fine. There's worse things you could spend $25 on.
I don't have a problem with the $25 for everything you get. If you take into consideration all the cosmetics you can earn, all the emotes you can earn, the ships, the sparrows, the ghosts, things like that. I don't have a problem with any of that because I sit here and think to myself, well, I was already going to buy anything that was Halo themed. Mm-hmm. I was prepared to log into Eververse and spend, you guys heard me last week and you've heard me for months. I was prepared to drop like $40-$50 in the Eververse for the marathon sets because I think they look so good for each. And you don't have to be logged in on that character. You can get them all across the board.
Yeah.
With your using your strange coins. Not a problem. Have no problem with that at all. I think that's great.
Mm-hmm.
I think my problem that I have is people are going to look at this and they're going to see it just surface value. And they're going to be like, well, the event is free to everybody. You can earn the Halo weapons just from playing the event. You don't actually have to buy this. It just helps you get treasure keys faster, basically. It helps you get strange coins quicker and things like that. Like, they're gonna see that and say, so I'm paying $25 for a dungeon, basically. I've already seen, and I'm only bringing this up because I've seen some people bring this up already. And I don't know that I necessarily agree with that, because I do think I've been a big proponent of, I think you get a ridiculous value for $10 for a season. I think that's an incredible value. Because I look at it not just, oh, here's the seasonal event and here's the new weapons you can earn. I look at it as, here's everything in the battle pass. Here's the set of armor you're getting. Here's the ship. Here's the finisher. Here's the here's an emote. Here's weapon ornaments like that are all in here. An ornament for your exotic. Like that is like a $30-$40 value quite easily just in cosmetics, I think. And when I look at the anniversary pack, like I love there were things we didn't know about. You get a blue emote right off the bat. I don't know if it's just if you bought the pack or not, but it's the ragdoll falling animation from Halo.
Yeah.
That's really great. I like that a lot. There's just so many little things to Bungie's history in here, and I think this is something I don't know that I would recommend that like a casual player buy it. But if you play Destiny regularly or you just love Bungie games, I think that this is the pack for you. If you're somebody who only plays like, oh, I come around for the big expansions and that's it, like I don't play the seasonal storylines, I don't know that this is quite for you. This really is here for like the hardcore Destiny and Bungie faithful to carry us until the Witch Queen.
Yeah, I would almost say it's for the Bungie faithful at this point.
Well, so I think the event is, I think like in terms of the cosmetic, and I mean, but I think like if you're looking at like, oh my god, we're gonna get this huge influx of content, you're really not. You're getting a lot of stuff you can go grind out. You're getting Dare of Eternity to grind out. You're getting the dungeon, which will be grindable starting next week. You're getting master dungeons are now a thing, and the armor is actually worth getting out of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you actually kind of want to get the armor from those encounters because you get an extra mod slot now. So now you can have both of your champion mods on with another combat style mod. That's huge. That's a game changer. And if you're going to do this in here, like maybe you don't do it in every dungeon or every raid, but DMG has said this is one of the things that the team wanted to try out, see how you guys like it, because we might do this moving forward. If you did this in something like Vault of Glass, yeah, I'd go suffer through those first couple encounters. I probably wouldn't do it all the way to the end, but I'd at least do it on a few pieces. I would at least get the arms so that I could have 2 champion mods, if not 3, slotted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, never have to worry about it ever again. Like, that would be an armor piece I'm literally never taking off no matter what the roll on it is.
Yeah.
So, I like a lot of what they've done with this anniversary event, and that includes the Universal Helmet ornament. I was so convinced it was a Spartan helmet. I get now into the Spartan armor. Like, the more I thought about it after we recorded last week, I was like, you know what? There are little nods on the street sets. The Warlocks clearly have the Arbiter's arms,
mm-hmm.
and they have the Halo bond. The Titans have the Needler pauldrons, of course.
Yep.
And what looks like it could be similar to like the CQB style Spartan helmet for their head.
Mm-hmm.
The Hunters got fucked again. There is no Halo armor for the Hunters unless you count that ski mask as maybe it's kind of like a Helljumper helmet.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm surprised there's not like
change the color of the stupid mask.
I'm surprised like there's not like a legendary like ODST style armor set, and then there would be like a like the exotic helmet isn't Master Chief. Like I was so convinced we were going to get a Master Chief Universal helmet.
I think a lot of us were convinced about it, and I know I was definitely somebody who was really pushing that theory. Still a little bit bummed that we didn't get it, but I understand. But like you said, like, okay, an ODST set would have been cool. I really think you probably would have gotten some Halo Reach sets if 2 things happened. One, if that wasn't what they had made the focus of the first season of Halo Infinite be. Mm-hmm. Basically, if Halo Infinite had come out last year, there's no doubt in my mind you would have gotten Halo armor in Destiny with this event.
Mm-hmm. I'm just surprised ODST, because that's where Destiny was teased.
I'm surprised with that too. Like, so I kind of like the little helmet nod, I guess, that the Hunters have, but I also like it kind of baffles me because there's no To my knowledge, I have not encountered them. There are no ODSTs in Halo Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
None. None whatsoever. And I've completed a pretty big chunk of the game at this point. Like, I would have seen them by now. There are no hell jumpers. They're referenced, but they're never actually seen. Mm-hmm. So, like, I have my own crackpot conspiracy theories about that. And about, like, there's reasons why. I think they were probably explicitly told, hey, you can't make it super obvious. Like, the Arbiter's arms, it's like, okay, cool, but it's like only one side is the Arbiter's arm. The other side is just, like, a normal, like, black armor piece. Like, you can't make it too obvious and like that. I think it's cool, the homages they did, and obviously getting the weapons in there is the biggest thing, I think. That's the biggest homage you could do to Halo. You have 5 weapons in there from Halo. Mm-hmm. You have an ornament for a 6th. You can't really ask for too much more than that, in my opinion. You got two Halo emotes, you got a Sparrow, you got a Ghost. Would I have loved to have seen a Pelican ship? Sure. Would I have loved to have seen a Banshee? Absolutely. Yeah. But right now I'm going to take what I can get.
Yeah, I would have loved to seen Guilty Spark as a Ghost. I would have loved to seen
the Guilty Spark not being a Ghost is kind of the one that, like, low key more than the armor, that's what kind of kills me.
Yeah.
But now having played Infinite, I'm like, okay, I understand why you didn't give us a monitor.
Yeah.
As a Ghost in this game. I totally get it now. And also, like, especially Guilty Spark, like, his name is 343 Guilty. That's literally the name of the company. Like, I don't think they were going to let him do that either. Yeah. There is a really cool transmat effect that is the old, like, Bungie cell animation.
Yeah.
From the old Bungie logo. I actually didn't realize that's what it was at first because it's been so long since I've seen it.
Yeah.
Joe told me about it the other night.
Yeah, there's also, let's see, what was the one that I saw that I really liked? Well, I guess it's not that important because I didn't get it. So, but there is a few like Transmat and Ghost things that I really liked. I guess I could just go to the store and look it up.
There's some cool stuff in there. I encourage everybody to go look at it. Of course, if you want to know when things are going to be for Bright Dust, todayandDestiny.com. That's where I go for my Eververse calendar. Mm-hmm. And the Dawning starts next week. There's some cool ornaments. They'll be there for the Dawning, for Risk Runner, and for Anarchy. Mm-hmm. If you've ever wanted to make your Anarchy a Christmas bulb, this is the time. Mm-hmm. The armor looks pretty okay, and it looks like we're getting a sword. And Glacio Chasm is going to be back with some new perks.
Ooh! It
should be a really fun little event. Clearly, they're not changing it up because they didn't tell us anything about it. If they do pull a fast one on us, I'd be impressed. But this is like the one event I don't mind being kind of goofy. Like, all right, I just got to bake cookies. That's all I got to do. That's easy. I can bake cookies all day long for some free Bright Dust.
Yeah.
Your transmog tokens have been reset also with this release. That's really nice. I was completely out of transmog tokens, and I gotta get that Thorn armor ready to wear. I have everything except the chest piece, which is the piece I really wanted. But do have the rest of the banner set. Looking forward to it. Hey, when it's farmable, cool. I can go do like 2-3 runs in an afternoon or an evening. Because I want to do this on all my characters. I want to get the Thorn armor for all 3.
Right.
Just so like I have decent armor to put on my Titan and my Warlock whenever I play them.
Yeah.
Which is not often.
Yeah. I have a quick question before we kind of move on.
Yes.
I'm looking at the cosmetic thing for the Titan, the cosmetic chest piece for the anniversary. Do the pins change depending on which events you've done?
I'm not sure.
I mean, that'd be probably like a really intricate thing, but it's like, because like it definitely has like a 7th column logo, and then like each expansion for Destiny and Destiny 2 is here, and then like the dungeons are here, but then on the other side there's only a couple things. I don't know, I just thought maybe that would be a cool thing. But
I mean, there's an MC on the back, which I mean, I know that probably stands for like Motorcycle Club, but I took it to mean Master Chief.
Yeah.
You will never convince me that it's not.
Yeah.
I still really like most of what we got for this event. The cosmetics are top notch. Like this is the kind of stuff we've been asking for in like regular expansions for forever.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to actually get it here.
Yeah.
But Corey,
Yes.
we have two very special pieces to read tonight in the lore corner.
Yeah, lore corner. It's been a while.
Lore corner.
It's been like 3 weeks since we've done lore corner.
Dude, I've kind of been like biding my time, honestly. In fact, we're gonna read one of these. I want to save Gallarhorn for when you've earned yours, or for next week, whichever one comes first. I think I want to save that one for our last one of the year. We're gonna do Forerunner tonight.
All right,
That's the one we're gonna talk.
Josh, I gotta go check my daughter real quick. I'm sorry.
You're good. You're good.
If you want to, I don't know if you want to wait for me.
I'm gonna go ahead and read.
Great.
I'm gonna go ahead and read. Forerunner, a new chapter for an old legend. Banshee 44 considered the relic on his workbench and the questions on his mind. One stood out above the rest. Who were you meant for? The form of the weapon suggested an oversized sidearm, a secondary weapon for a giant's hands. The function presented more so as an anti-material rifle. Looks to be 12.7 millimeters. Looks like they were making a hand cannon but didn't know it yet. Banshee wondered further about the warrior who could wield such a thing. His attention drifted momentarily, drawn by Shax's voice booming nearby. Huh, yeah, maybe, and a big one too. The weapon was laced with fractures from a life of fire and a sleep of ice, and perhaps other, more exotic stresses. Banshee wished he could have heard the relic's voice, but he knew from earlier examination it had fired its last round. What a last round it must have been. The guardian who brought it to him might be willing to try a shot. Untroubled by the risk of a rapid, unplanned dismantle, Banshee knew it wouldn't last through a single magazine. Beside the relic lay a stripped-down breech light. He would adapt it for a larger round. Custom casings and handguard, sensorium, link, scope, and he had other ideas to try as well. It would be an homage, an offering to the creators of the original relic, a legacy. With that satisfying thought in mind, the gunsmith went to work. This is a really special lore piece. Obviously, it's all kind of tongue-in-cheek. They're obviously wondering about the Master Chief. They can't explicitly say it. Like we said, you found it in the cryopod. And when he's talking about it here, when Banshee's describing it in her monologue, when we say tongue-in-cheek, like he says it's an homage offering to creators of the original relic and a legacy. That's about as on the nose as you could be. Like Corey and I have been saying it for a long time. Like if you were to bring any weapon over from Halo to Destiny, it had to be the pistol. It absolutely had one pistol. It had to be the Magnum. There is absolutely nothing else that you could possibly do that would live up to the hype. And I mean that in the best way possible. It's a lot of fun. I think that this is tasteful, tells a story still within our game, and the way that they do all this is they just kind of wave their hand and go, well, you found it in the realm of the Nine, you found it in eternity. It doesn't matter that you found it there, because guess what, they give you the whole spiel about how this exists outside of space and time, and how nothing really matters when this happens. Like, that's why the Destiny 1 weapons are back. That's why you've got stuff from Marathon. That's why you got stuff from, like, Beneath the Darkness or whatever we said earlier about the grenade launcher that I'm like, I don't really know this one. That is a Bungie game I've never played. I've played everything from, like, Oni onwards. I played Marathon a little bit. Like, that's the only thing I've played in the distant past. But this is about as good as I think the battle rifle, the focus rifle is definitely a little bit more of a deep cut. Because I think, like, of all the weapons you could bring over, I expected a plasma rifle before a focus rifle. But the justification of this is our test for legendary trace rifles makes a lot of sense. And at the end of the day, I don't know that you could have done a more fitting tribute to where Bungie has been and where they're going than bringing, until Gallarhorn, the most legendary weapon name ever. And I mean, Gallarhorn's even part of this expansion, right? Like, if you were ever going to do it, this was the time. I had said, for a long time, if they were ever going to do it, it was going to be, it was going to be at the end of D2, if they ever brought it back. And, it's back, it's bigger, it's better than ever. Of course, there's the new perk on Gallarhorn that if you're using a legendary rocket launcher while somebody in your fire team is using Gallarhorn, everybody gets wolf pack rounds for legendary rockets. Just, you can't get more nostalgic than the Forerunner sidearm, the Halo Armory, and Gallarhorn all being in the same expansion. You just can't. There's no way to do it. It's just a fun little tongue-in-cheek reference, and at the end of the day, it's like, okay, I think this is them saying goodbye to Halo for good, frankly. It will always be a part of who they are. Obviously, Bungie is not Bungie without Halo. It was a huge gamble at the time. Nobody thought it was going to work out, and then it becomes arguably one of like the 10 most important franchises of all time in gaming. And for them to kind of look back and say, okay, here, we're going to let you have these weapons, but this is probably the last time we're going to do anything with Halo at our company, it's something special, and I'm really glad that I got to be here for it.
Yeah.
I got to see the beginning, and I got to see the end, and now I'm seeing the epilogue 10 years later.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like I don't know, it's almost like that thing where it's hard to explain. Like they love that original trilogy, and you know what they did with Halo and everything, and you know everybody's been like wanting them back to do a Halo game since 343 took over for some reason, and like
right,
I get it, you know, but then like I feel like this is a way to show their appreciation, but really saying, hey, we are done with Halo. Like 343's had the franchise longer than Bungie did at this point. Like they're done, but this was obviously a nice nod to their history. Destiny is their future. Matter is their future. Whatever this other project they're working on for NetEase is they have their future in front of them. Halo is behind them.
Right.
It's always Master Chief and the Spartans are always going to be in their DNA, but
I mean, and we clearly see that when you have Titans. I mean, Titans are very clearly inspired by Spartans. Just look at the makeup of their chest pieces and how big they are on the backs,
and their helmets and everything, right? Like that's very clearly if you wanted to play this game like Halo, that's what you went with in Destiny 1 was a Titan. If
you read what Bungie's original influences were for each class, they very specifically say Master Chief for the Titans. And it's not hard to see why. But while Bungie may be looking back and saying goodbye to the past, we're looking forward, Corey. You could say we're looking infinitely into the future.
Oh, God. Did you see that? So before we get into this, since you made that awful dad joke that probably should have come out of my mouth, did you see that they trademarked The Endless today? Halo The Endless?
I did, and you should play more of Halo Infinite to know why that's important.
Well, I will. I mean,
that's actually addressed in...
I figured it was like a
storyline.
Yeah, I figured it was like a spoiler to actually figure out what that was.
We may have to do a special for Arsenal X where I just sit there and talk about Halo lore for like 2 hours to explain what the fuck is going on in Infinite at one point.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, I'm not going to spoil any story details here. There's some pretty big moments, and they're not too far from where Corey is now, that I legitimately think not necessarily turn the Halo universe on its head, but it does if all you've ever played is the games. If you have a lot of knowledge of the expanded universe, this game is like an early Christmas present for you. Zeta Halo, the Halo that we're on, it's the ring that Metadic Bias, the rogue AI, the rogue monitor against the Forerunners, 100,000 years before the events of the game, that's the ring that he had the Flood on through space to go to war with the Forerunners. That's part of why it was damaged. I mean, it's been repaired in the 100,000 years since. It's been damaged again because of the Banished. It gets damaged at the end of Halo Wars 2, I believe. I think that's when they jumped to it.
Yeah, they totally recreated that end scene of Halo Wars 2.
Yeah,
like at the beginning.
The opening cutscene is absolutely breathtaking. It's very good. I mean, it's literally in the first 2 minutes. of the mission, but or of the entire game, Master Chief loses. He's fighting Atriox, and he loses. He gets thrown out of the Infinity into space. Mm-hmm. And the next time we see him is the E3 2019 cutscene. The pilot finds him in space and hooks him back up. And 6 months have passed. Chief's just been floating out there for 6 months. Mm-hmm. The pilot has been floating out there in Pelican for 6 months. The Infinity is destroyed. It's gone. The UNSC Infinity is gone. Mm-hmm. Which is wild. The fate of everybody on board, most people who were on it are dead. You get some audio logs kind of towards the beginning, and you're not quite sure. You're not sure if Lasky is dead. I've listened to all 12 of the UNSC logs you can get, and I'm not sure that I'm not convinced he's dead, but I'm also not convinced he's alive. And it's this crazy sequence of events where they literally did a spiritual reboot of Halo. It's Chief, the AI, and the pilot. Because as she's seen in Halo 1, but Foehammer is such an important character in the original Halo. Mm-hmm. She's who transports you all over the ring. Mm-hmm. And the pilot kind of is with a backstory in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. Like a good backstory too, I would say. I couldn't understand where the praise for the character was coming from in the reviews. Like, oh yeah, I genuinely I love Chief, and I like the 2 new additions. I'm like, how do you like this guy? This guy's just fucking annoying. And then you hit how hilariously the turning point is after the E3 2020 demo, or the summer 2020 demo. The first gameplay demo we got is actually in-game, full-fledged mission. Mm-hmm. We saw the first third of that mission in that gameplay demo. Mm-hmm. It's about a 20-25 minute mission if you run straight through it. And you do the boss fight at the end and everything, but you get these moments with the pilot, and my attitude really changed on him. Now I'm like, okay, I'm really curious, like, how many more stories are we going to get with this guy? There's already been audio logs that I've listened to where I'm like, this is clearly going to be DLC. Blue Team is referenced in the very first audio log you pick up in the game. Mm-hmm. It's Halsey and Lasky talking about the mission that Chief is going to go on with the Infinity to Zero. And Lasky's like, are you sure this is smart? Just only taking John? What about the rest of Blue Team? And Halsey literally says, John is up to the task. Like, John knows what has to be done. I need Blue Team elsewhere. Blue Team is needed on a different mission. I do think that Blue Team is going to come into the DLC eventually. Once co-op is in, you can do almost anything. I think Blue Team and Alpha 9 from ODST are both making returns eventually. Mm-hmm. There is evidence, not just in the game, but in the books, to suggest that Alpha 9 will... I haven't found any evidence in game, but Alpha 9 will come back eventually. Yeah. They are reunited in the books, and that book takes place a couple months before the first cutscene of Infinite. Yeah. And the threat you uncover and stuff as you explore the ring, as you go into the depths of it, as you fight against the Banished, you start realizing what humanity really is up against. Like, humanity's losing the war against the Banished. And it's only a matter of time, I think. The fight's taken to Earth, obviously, but they're trying to activate the ring. Like, these guys they don't care if they want to wipe out humanity. That's all they want. That's all they want for whatever reason. And uncovering the different types of weaponry in here as opposed to multiplayer, it's like, oh man. I'm actually really glad I got exposed to this stuff in multiplayer first, because I'd be so pissed if my introduction to shock rifles was in this campaign. Yeah. Like, in multiplayer, we think of those as precision tools. In here, they're a pain in my ass, because they're disabling my wasp every 5 seconds. Yeah. You got cinder. The cinder shots are being used against you. Sentinel beams are like absurdly powerful for the first time ever in the franchise. The Stalker rifle is the beam rifle reincarnated. I'm playing on normal, and sometimes they catch me off guard. But I think the most immediate thing about this game is just how open and alive the world feels. Like, I'll come across random UNSC patrols. As I liberate more areas, the UNSC are patrolling the roads. Mm-hmm. They're patrolling. They're engaging in firefights without me even being there. They're patrolling the camps I liberate. They're on the road. They're fighting random ghosts that may be driving by. Phantoms may just spawn in and drop enemies, and they're going to run off to fight them. If you past a group of Marines, they're going to follow you until they can't anymore. So you better get a vehicle or prepare to go on foot or whatever. I've gone into so many enemy strongholds with like 8 or 9 Marines with me. And I make sure that half of them have rockets or snipers before we go. Because the forward operating bases are one of the coolest things about this game, I think. As you capture each fob, you can spawn vehicles and weapons there for free.
Mm-hmm.
Ammo, refill your power weapons. Like, oh, you're going to go do this next mission. Maybe you want rockets for that. Maybe you want a sniper for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've dropped my battle rifle maybe twice just because I ran out of ammo and I couldn't find a kinetic ammo crate anywhere around.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been a great surprise. I stayed away from so many details about campaign, but ammo crates. This is great. I no longer have to look for a battle rifle to get battle rifle ammo.
I know. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice.
It's very nice. I like so much of what Infinite does and how actions you take in the story transform the world.
Mm-hmm.
They transform things. I'm less of a fan of there are things that you can miss in some of the linear campaign levels.
Yeah.
Audio logs, skulls, etc. And I did not realize that until I was done with the first 2 levels.
Mm-hmm.
So my game will forever be incomplete because right now you can't go back to those levels. And you won't be able to until they give us the ability sometime in 22.
They said it'll probably launch with what, season 2 of the multiplayer, I think is what they're trying to add features with.
I guess that's when co-op is targeted for, so I don't know if they're going to rush this out before or after co-op or alongside. I would think you want to do it alongside it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Because if I'm doing co-op, I want to go and explore this entire world again.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my personal take on this. I would honestly, like, outside of that, like, I really love it. I do think the story could be tighter in some locations, and I mean, you can pretty clearly see, okay, this isn't just, they're not hand waving away Halo 4 and 5, but they're also not like eager to talk about them either.
Mm-hmm.
They're not eager to be like, okay, we're gonna do this again. Like, the Prometheans are gone. They're done. They're done. The Prometheans are gone, which is kind of weird, but sure, I'll go with it. The Guardians from 5 are never referenced. There's even very little reference to Cortana halfway through the story. It's just they very much are going for, not only they're doing the spiritual reboot, but it feels like they're setting up this conflict with the Banished to be the true next. Yeah. Like, okay, at first it was Prometheans, and in Halo 4 it was Prometheans. That was a more grounded story, right? Master Chief stops that. Like, sealing the diadact really does seal the Prometheans. They only came out because Cortana was composed and can do all that bullshit.
Yeah.
The Guardian robots, never referenced. It's kind of weird. I'm still waiting for the day that I get to fight one of those, because I think that would be an awesome Halo boss battle.
Yeah. I wonder...
to, like, have to board and run around it.
They've got to tie up some of those loose ends in some expansion content, right? Like...
You would think so.
Because there's areas of the map...
They'll leave that for...
From what I hear, there's areas of the map that you don't even go to, like the snowy areas, or like... Maybe there's another island that you go to and, like, really kind of explore, you know? Like, there's a lot they could do with this.
So, yeah, I don't know really what all they're going to do with it. I think there's a lot of different avenues you can go with DLC content. Like I said, I think any DLC content, they're going to want to focus it and, like, make it a team story in a lot of ways. I do not think, regardless of what they do, I do not think Locke is coming back. I think Locke is a one and done. They'll keep him to the books or the comics after this. I don't think he's ever coming back.
You don't think, like, instead of Blue Team, they're going to bring in, like, Buck and Locke and maybe some newer characters to be the co-op characters?
I think there's multiple storylines you can do. They want Infinite to be a hub for the next decade.
Right.
I think that you will probably get a couple different stories, because nothing says you have to stay on this ring either.
Right.
Like, you can have the campaigns just listed add-ons, like similar to Master Chief Collection, and just launch it, like, this launches the Infinite campaign, and this is like the Blue Team Zeta Halo DLC. But here's the sequel to Halo ODST. It's $40, and it's an add-on, and it's a 10-hour linear campaign.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you give, and they're Spartans now, so it makes more sense. Give me grapple shots. You can never take the grapple shot out of Halo. We have it now. It's changed the way that I approach fights and that I play Halo forever. I can never go back. I don't think I've used the threat detector, the thrusters, or the drop wall once. I have used exclusively the grapple hook, and it's changed. Today, my wasp was blowing up. I dove out of it and grappled into the Banshee that had killed me.
Yeah. Which is
awesome.
awesome.
Just kept on assaulting the base I was at. I was attacking a high-value target, just kept on attacking them.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Great.
That's such a cool thing that, like, I mean, we saw a little bit of that in multiplayer, right? Where like, oh, somebody has a Banshee, if you get the grappling hook, you can get up there and kick them out, right? But like to see that in action in the campaign, and you know, like you said, you're in your wasp or whatever, and it gets destroyed, and you just use the grapple hook to, you know, if you're close enough to get in the Banshee that just murdered you or murdered your stuff, like just so cool. It's so cool. Those hero moments, man.
The hero moments, the verticality is just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Man, just like I said, like the game has changed forever. The exploration, I find myself trying to find the audio logs everywhere I go, trying to find the skulls are still in like the most unlikely or the like weirdest places to climb to. Like I climbed up to the top of one of the first buildings you're sent after. It's a big tower. It's literally called the Tower. And you're sent there right after you go into the open world for the first time. I scaled it with my grapple shot, swung around, and at the very top, there was a skull hidden. I was chasing a cache that I thought was up at the top that was not there. And instead I found a skull. And it's the I Would Have Been Your Daddy skull, which is even better.
They're showing Remedy's game on the Game Awards right now, by the way. Crossfire.
They're showing who?
Crossfire X.
Oh,
the campaign.
God, I forgot that existed.
Yeah. I didn't know if you were interested in that or not, because I know they showed Alan Wake 2 earlier. But anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I'm Peach. We need to end. My internet keeps crashing, and I have no idea why. Yeah. But I need to angrily call AT&T in the morning.
Any final thoughts on Halo, Josh, before we kind of get out of here?
No, we are still planning once we get through the campaign, do a spoiler cast, do Spartan Slayers. I really want to talk about some of the story and lore implications, really where Halo is going next, because I think it's actually really exciting from what I've seen so far, and obviously I'll be finishing the campaign up this weekend.
Right.
So look for that sometime over the Christmas break. We'll put that out as a bonus episode.
Yeah. I'm gonna play a little bit actually as soon as we're done here while I'm editing the show.
Oh, I'm 100% jumping back into it. Yeah.
So, well, Josh, this is a great return to form for this show. I love the 30th anniversary event. I love Halo. I can't wait to it's like I wish they didn't come out in the same week, because I want to enjoy them both, and I don't have the time to do both, you know? So I'm kind of like,
having the whiplash of those has been really rough, and like I'm in Halo mode, so when I try to I keep trying to click stick to melee in Destiny, and it's not working. Yeah,
well, I switched all my buttons in Halo to match Destiny, so I wouldn't do that. So, yeah, but I'm prioritizing the Halo campaign, and then I'm gonna move. I mean, tomorrow I'm playing the dungeon, but Saturday I'm playing Halo like all night. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of Tower Casuals. Remember to leave us a 5-star review.
Together episode.
They don't look, the power of editing. They'll have no idea that your internet dropped 4 times tonight.
4 times, unbelievable.
Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Give us a thumbs up everywhere else. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. There will be some 30th anniversary gameplay and stuff up there as well. Go check it out. Josh, where can we find you?
At Josh_Finn with 2 N's on Twitter. I'll mainly just be ranting about Halo and trying not to spoil it for people, and enjoying Hawkeye, and we're gonna have the Matrix here pretty soon too. Matrix 8. I will have seen Spider-Man by the time we record next week. I'm going Thursday afternoon before we record.
Ooh, fun.
So I'm very excited for that.
Awesome. You can find me at I am Corian HD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast and Arsenal X, the Xbox podcast as well if you're interested in that. I want to remind everybody, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Tower Casuals. Send us your mail. Send us your questions. We want them. Anyways, I want to thank you so much for watching and or listening. And until next week, we love you. Goodbye.